So a little bit about the ApeHouse here, covering for Caesar. He hasn't been feeling well, so this is my first kick of the can. So for everybody else that gets to listen, sucks to be you. Yeah, so ApeHouse ultimately pretty tight knit community here. I think I've been in the ApeHouse for I want to say like 7 months or so. They've been around almost a year. Really kind of started off as a bunch of people who got rugged, got screwed over, and kind of built a community from that. Trying to make safer plays for people in the space in DeFi. As we know, it's a shit storm from time to time. So that's kind of a little bit about us. We host a lot of AMAs, do constant giveaways, whitelist opportunities, all that. And, we've started, I think, recently really to get a little bit more into Ethereum plays and some of like the big games, right? Tokens like yourselves that are bringing actual utility and not just shit coins coming in and out of the space. So yeah, that's a little bit about us. I think I'd love to just turn it over to you guys just to introduce yourself. So for those on the call, we've got Pat, Dennis, and I think Justin's here as well too, from the Locker Token team. So I'll turn it over to you guys. Just do a quick intro of yourself, who you are, how long you've been in the space, and any fun facts if you want to throw that in there too. And then we'll kind of get going into what the project is.
All right, so I'll start off, I guess. My name is Pat Curcio. I'm a former pro hockey player, former pro coach, and took over my agent's company that represented me in the 90s about 5 years ago, where we really grew the company. They've been around 30 years, Optimal World Sports, and our focus, Optimal World Sports, has been since 1994, I believe, is when they started the company, is bringing North American players to all over Europe and Russia. So we represent the majority of players going overseas. So we have players in Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Switzerland, Germany, Austria, Czechoslovakia, Slovakia, Italy, France, England, UK, and Russia, and China too, until COVID hit. So we're pretty much everywhere, all over the world. So through all these years of doing things, we've had so many challenges for our players and their families. With moving money and getting paid and all these different things. And I got involved in crypto. I guess I dipped my toes in 2017 when Bitcoin hit 20 grand, and I was buying at 20. So I rode it all the way down, bought some more, rode it all the way up. And I'm a big believer in the whole blockchain space. And when all this, I started to learn a little bit more and met Dennis several months ago. And we were strategizing on how we can make the sports world a better place. That's how the Locker Token was born.
You sound exactly like me, other than cool pro hockey stuff.
Right on.
That's fun. Yeah, for me, my name is Dennis. Pat and I met was like last October on another project. And, through, I've been in the blockchain space, trading for 2.5 years. And, on this project, Pat and I, got to know each other through a common friend. He told me a lot about his, work as a pro agent, and then me just having had a prior understanding of, crypto startups and knowing how much, improvement there is available in the space and how young the space is. I said, here, look, this is the perfect thing that you can integrate here in your business and offer a service, right? Because nobody else is going to do this right now, right? And you at such a, massive connection level, have the ability to actually integrate this change and offer all these benefits, to your teams and to your players. And, after doing a little bit of, investigating and asking for advice, we got some great validation on the business idea. And, we built the Locker Token app and the Locker Token as the native currency, I guess, to be used on the app as a project. And it's a real service that we're offering now in the real world to these teams and players. So, it's a really exciting opportunity for me, who got so blessed to meet somebody like Pat, who's playing at this top level game, and together now we're building this project. So it's a massive opportunity for everybody that knows about it right now, because we just launched, not even 2 weeks ago. We're right out of the gate, with basically all the things that the average project promises for the first year. So it's an exciting opportunity for really anybody that knows about Locker and is involved in this right now, because of what we are introducing here in the real world to these real teams and real players as a service to improve what they're currently doing.
Right on. Thanks for the info, Dennis. You're just ready to get into thick things. I can tell.
Yeah, you know what? Like, I apologize. It's not even about me because it's not so. It is important, but at the end of the day, it's really I want people to understand how massive this is. What we're working on here. And, Pat always downplays. He says, "Oh yeah, we're just a big agent. We represent the majority." But the connections, that Pat is bringing into this here are unbelievable. And it's happening here on the daily almost. So I just, I'm just so excited to tell people about it because it's so massive. Yeah.
That's good though. The passion's what you need, right? The grind is real and it gets exhausting. So you got to have that love for it because there's good days and there's a hell of a lot of bad days too. So no, excited to hear it. Justin, are you? Yeah, that's right. That's right. Is Justin here with us today too? I got too long a list to see.
Yeah, let's see.
No,
it
Justin
doesn't
right
look
now.
like it. He's busy guy too. He's doing a lot of our stuff here.
He's the one doing the work while you guys get to sit and talk. Every team
then we're
needs
gonna
one of
yell at
those.
him. Did you get this done? Did you get this done?
That's right. We're gonna go bullshit for an hour and get to work.
That's it. I'll message him here.
All right. Well, thanks for the intros, guys. So just so you know, this the house runs a little bit differently here. No one's muted, so every now and then we'll have questions come in, whether it's going to be through voice on the chat. I'm going to kind of chair it. I've got a ton of questions. I'm going to keep it fairly, 1,000-foot view for the most, but we do have quite a few people in here that are going to test how much you guys know about your stuff. But with the intro, would love to just elevator pitch. Let's give everybody kind of a high level. I know I'm super bullish. Everyone here, I mean, you can see my PFP. I'm a big hockey nut. Coach my kids, play, all that, right? So I'm super excited. But I'd love one of the two of you, if you guys want to just give us a high level elevator. I think Dennis gave us a little bit right off the start, but let's give us maybe a little bit more official, right from the basics. What are you guys? What are you about? And then we'll maybe get into the nitty gritty and get a little bit deeper on.
Well, the first thing is when you're moving money from country to country, every country's got its own laws, whether it's through SWIFT codes, IBANs, and all these things. It's very difficult. We've had players that were working in Sweden, had to get money wired to Canada, use their bank card when the money finally arrives 7 days after their paycheck, withdraw cash out of the accounts in Sweden, pay fees. Like just disaster after disaster, not to mention the Russian problems, the Czech problems, the Swiss problems. It's just very difficult. Nothing is very smooth, and it's archaic. It's just crazy and all this stuff. So that was the first kind of way things started. Like these crazy stories we can tell you where players were having to sign power of attorney to taxi drivers and pray these taxi drivers when they're out of the country are going to go to the bank and wire their money. I've had players with their money, like $250,000 locked in the account that they can't get out, but they had a bank card that was working in Canada and literally had to take $2,000 out a day and pray that the bank card didn't get shut down. And for like 2 months straight, we're taking out $2,000 a day, like just stacks of cash, like just crazy stuff. So all these kind of things started happening. And then the biggest thing was we knew one day someone was going to say, I want to be paid in crypto. We already seen it in basketball. We already saw it maybe in football, but really, how are they getting paid in crypto, right? How is it happening? I guarantee these teams aren't on a Coinbase. They're not going retail in crypto.com. They can't be bothered. They just can't do it. They don't run a payroll service, these companies, right? So we knew that this was going to happen. Players are sometime or another going to say, I want to be paid in crypto. We wanted to be ahead of the curve and provide the opportunity for teams to have a platform to, one, pay their players in crypto. And I'm not saying Bitcoin or Ethereum. Could be a stable coin like USDT. Some people don't want, the fluctuations and the volatility in the market. So we wanted to provide all these things. And that's how this started. And that's what we are going to do. That's what our platform does. So that's the first thing. And then we wanted to, provide all the other benefits. And Dennis will tell you a little bit more about the crypto stuff, the yield farming, the staking, the NFT marketplace where players and teams live can mint NFTs so fans in the building can buy them live. Like all these things are going to be all right in a one-stop shop on our app. So how cool is that? It's incredible. So if I'm you talking about bullish, I'm super bullish.
That's good.
Yeah. We're starting out, like Pat says, with the payroll feature, right? That's the first thing right now because that's an easy sell to these teams, right? like we just experienced this on the last Pat before we launched. Pat was on a trip for 6 weeks in Europe, meeting with all these team GMs and owners, and introducing Locker Token. He was there on an annual trip where he talks, trades and all that stuff every year. But in this time, a lot of talk was about crypto, and for a lot of these people, it was a first time introduction. So we realized, how new it is for most people. We're used to crypto, we're used to all these benefits. But when you're talking to, the average Joe out there, especially, a 50 or plus team owner or GM or president, they may have heard about Bitcoin before, but that's usually where their crypto knowledge ends. Yeah. And now you start telling them about, financial independence, right? The ability to move massive amounts of money 24/7 for very low cost, with ultimate security, eliminating a lot of fees and intermediaries that typically handle those transactions, to benefits like yield farm allocations, where you start making 10% on a stablecoin contract, by having your money sit there for years. So a lot of these teams, have now all these reasons to get into crypto because they were properly introduced, and our app, is the first step they're taking. So right now we have a functioning wallet, non-custodial wallet. We're just about to bring out a fiat on-ramp. We had a few delays on there, but the integration is already existing. It's just on the back end. They're super busy, actually. Yeah, like all these fiat partners. So yeah, we're basically the ability to, and like big money we can already onboard through OTC desks, but we're trying to have a credit card and debit card integration right now. That's just slowing us down a little bit. But yeah, either way, we have a fully functioning wallet, that has already the infrastructure in place for the NFT marketplace to be released. We have a chat feature, and we're building a full payroll system that we are offering to the teams, on a corporate level. So right now we're basically setting them up in order to onboard and to integrate crypto and educate them on it. Over the coming days, really we are ready to announce our first big partners in the space to start offering this as an internal service. And we have all the players already lined up. Pat represents hundreds that are wanting to take a shot at crypto, and they're getting paid. So the request from not that they're just plugging it into our multiple connections to offering them a new addition to their business, in this case the payroll, which is the first focus, but at the same time introducing the whole spectrum of the ecosystem they can tap into through having their feet in the crypto space, right? So this is kind of our business model, what we're offering. It's an integration project. And we're making it easy for these projects to get involved, these teams to get involved.
And so you guys is to have kind of a one-stop shop. Everything they can come for the NFTs. They've got their wallet. All of that's going to be integrated inside your ecosystem. You won't be going outside to open seas or any of that stuff. It'll all be within your Locker Token ecosystem.
Yeah, we even have a Twitter feature where you'll be able to tweet out in the app. Your NFT and market it, follow other people, buy NFTs through there. The chat feature in the app is incredible. I just had one player today. He's over in Europe right now, and he's like, we're playing around with the app, and I was showing him how to use it. And he's like, oh my God. So right now I'm chatting on the app and I can send crypto. I said, yeah, watch. So I sent him crypto. I'm sitting here. He's in Europe. Boom, instantly through the chat, crypto, without copy and pasting wallets, worrying about putting the wrong address or anything. He's like blown away. He's like, this is unbelievable. So my wife in Winnipeg right now, I can get her on the app and send her crypto. I said immediately, instantly. And it was real cool. It was real cool. It was
so you can basically attach your wallet then to your profile or whatever we want to call it, and then it'll automatically go through because it's all linked internally.
Yeah, like Dennis I'm sure can share his screen and he's good at that stuff and show you exactly how to do it on the chat.
We'll get there.
Right,
yeah, let's get there later on. I'd love to see that. Yeah, I'd love to see that demo. Because I know, like as a person in the space, I've done more transactions than I'd care to admit to, and I still I think every time I'm hitting that button, I'm like fuck, right?
Yeah.
So
is this right? Is this right? Yeah.
That's right. And then they add memos in, and you're like, no, I don't want memos too, right? So I think that's actually I'd love that feature everywhere because there's challenges that come there, but I think that's a pretty cool feature. So So you guys gave us kind of the high level overview, the vision of what you want your token utility to do for, pro teams. I assume obviously hockey is going to be a big one to start just because that's where your experience is. You guys, before I get into, the investor side, what's the plan? What's the objective and goal and strategy to try to get into, soccer or cricket or, whatever it is that you want to get into? Is that the long term? I assume isn't just to stay within the hockey realm, which is, it's definitely one of the smaller major sports unless you live where I live. But
yeah. Where are you, Steve?
I'm in Canada, so I live in Alberta. So we're hockey crazy here. So I know I was chatting with Dennis the other day.
I'll be in
I'm a big
fan.
The
brick tournament. My nephew will be playing in the brick tournament in June, so I'll be up there.
Oh, that's cool. Someday, my oldest just. Oh, really? Yeah. Well, you're not too far from me then. I was in Cochrane last weekend, I think. So. No, it's funny when we were chatting, we actually know some of the same people, which is it's pretty funny how small the world is. We don't see a lot of Canadians in this space yet, at least not obnoxiously like me.
That's it.
Love it.
So you do have plans then to kind of scale it and get outside the hockey world?
Yeah. We already are, right? So yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying through our connections, right? Hockey's what we know, and it's our biggest business, and we represent so many players that are just starting to get used to crypto and starting to get their, dip their toes in the water per se. And but through that, we're agents, we're friends with other agents in other industries.
Small world.
But it's a small world, and not only sports. We've been talking to some people in the poker industry, in the entertainment industry, golf, tennis, Formula One. I mean, those are things that we all want to expand to, but, I'll give you an example. Carol Alt, who's one of our biggest supporters. She's a famous movie star and actress. She's got massive following. She's just filming a new movie right now on Netflix with Cuba Gooding Jr. And she talks about all the struggles she's had in the years to get paid. She was filming a movie in Africa, money stuck in Africa for 6 months. Then she does a scene in France, can't get the money out of France. Then does a scene in Italy, and then flying to Prague and all these different places, and her money's stuck in every country. If she had something like this, I know it's the Locker app, but it still serves the most incredible purpose for her to have the money, the ability to have her funds in her wallet immediately in her hand. And that's pretty cool.
Right. And even if we were just this wallet, right? Let's say we had none of the incredible connections and utility like in the business world of pro sports entertainment. If we just were here promoting this wallet, it would be enough to be excited over. I'm not joking you. Like, you probably play with it a little bit, right? It's 100%. Amazing. The user friendliness, it's next. Something you can give to like your grandma. I was joking around with her and say, here, look, this is your account. Your name is, Betty123, right? And anytime anybody sends money to you, just give them this name, right? And look in their chat and receive and send crypto. So from all networks, you don't have to set up a bunch of stuff, right? Like it's just along the wallet is amazing, right? So we just happen to have had to make that wallet, as a user-friendly tool that we can offer now to the people that we're actually targeting, which is the players and pro teams. But just along the wallet would be worth having an AMA over.
So on that wallet, is it say tied to a Coinbase and MetaMask? Is it completely separate? Do they integrate together? How does that side of things work?
It's a non-custodial wallet. So any seed phrase, that you have right now can be imported into it, and you'll access, all your funds on the respective blockchains. If you want to start a new seed phrase, right? As soon as you open the app for the first time, it automatically generates one for you, right? Then you just, view it and save it. At the end of the day, it's a non-custodial wallet. It allows you to access, your funds and interact with your funds in the various blockchains. So we don't actually hold anything on there. It's the same style like MetaMask. But where the benefits are is that, for example, you have a username that we can tag on the app that links your wallets from the, from basically replaces your a bunch of different wallet addresses for various networks you would need, or like a MetaMask is all one anyways, right? But you still have you still have a lot of numbers, right? And we're replacing the whole thing with with an username and a profile that's associated with it, and having a chat function so you can actually interact, address to address. And and exchange information, send money, receive money. So there's a history there. So it's a lot of these little things that MetaMask, was just a little bit lacking in the user friendliness of it. Just alone adding the networks, right? That's a 20-minute process, and if you have to set up a friend or whatever, there's a lot of wasted time that goes into it. Like, okay, now copy this, copy it there, right? As your MetaMask window closes down on you. So it, we just try to make the whole thing more adaptable and more user friendly, and I think that a lot of people that will use our wallet for the first time will not really see anything else out there that looks better, that they want to switch to. So we're going to onboard a ton of people. We've already set up 50 plus players, with the app. We're going to have a lot of fan engagement, possible through the app because of the chat function and the social media. So let's say, a player starts posting his content. People can engage with that and purchase it, right? That's where the NFT marketplace ties in. But yeah, a lot more engagement will be able to take place, and players will be gladly doing that, because when people are buying their NFTs, they're tapping into a whole new market that they didn't have access to before. So they're gonna roll with this for sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, as like an investor, if we go down to the bare bones of it, even just the simplicity of it, right? If we look at crypto, we got all the degens and the nerds in here that like it already. But I think, if we want to see crypto truly scale, you have to make it simpler, right? It just has to be. People are going to get terrified when they look at a 40-digit seed phrase with numbers and letters, and then you've got a seed phrase that if you lose it, you're screwed, right? So when we can simplify it, I think as organizations like yourself start to really embrace that and change it and change the game, that's huge, right? You talk about, a multi-million-dollar owner of a company. He doesn't want to have to worry about all these numbers and crap, right? So when they can set this up, I think that's huge, right? So that's exciting. Exactly. So yeah, so we've talked about that utility. Then I would like to kind of shift gears a little bit and get away from, your long-term vision of what this means for these organizations, and say, what does it mean to old Steve, right? To the general person investing, where, what's that nugget? What's that with them in there for us when we look at, all these transactions going within your ecosystem? How does it impact me?
Yeah, good question. That is actually the most important question probably for the people that are listening, right? How can they benefit from this amazing revolution that is taking place here, right? And there's multiples where the locker token holders, benefit. So I go with the most simple one to understand is just fees, right? We're going to charge fees in order to facilitate these services, right? Initially, it has to be free because we have to introduce it, right? But there's going to be a paid service with it. That service is paid for in locker tokens, okay? And with that paid, here, one second. With that table, my kids just came back here from a little trip. So when the service is payable doing locker token, these teams have to start buying locker tokens in large amounts, right? In order to facilitate, paying the fees, right? It's bought on the open market, and drives the value of it. Secondarily, the NFT marketplace, NFTs, can only be purchased in locker tokens, so there's no utility. The biggest one I would say, though, which is the long-term vision, is the ownership of the project itself. So everything is turning into a DAO, and we're building this business right now, obviously with us being a driving force, but eventually the property of the locker token will go over into ownership of a DAO, and all locker holders are owners of that intellectual property, and benefit from the transaction fees, right? Benefit from the entire product of the ecosystem by being token holders. So initially, right now, yes, it takes real people, doing this, and we cannot, make all decisions based on, approval of the community members. But our vision is to, as soon as possible, have a self-sustaining business and everything operating, plugged in the way it should be, where we can now, include our holders as DAO members in deciding on how, things should go. So this is where I think, businesses will shift in generally, especially on a global scale, where you want to have, non-centralized ownership of products and businesses. And yeah, this DAO is the perfect way of doing it, because there'll be no bias whether you're an American team or a South American soccer team or a European team, right? Like you can all own equal portions of this.
Awesome. No, and that's great because I think when we started chatting, that was one of the biggest things that I was intrigued about, right? Is, it's this fantastic vision, but how does it help me? So these teams essentially, they'll be able to pass around USDT or however these players want to get paid in that crypto. But in order to do that, eventually they're going to have to own, XYZ amount of these locker tokens, which will ultimately inflate that ecosystem. So is there going to be
Right.
tiering for them? So like, let's just use for easy numbers, right? If you own $1 million, your fees are X amount. If you own 2 million, they're less, or something like that. Is it going to be tiered that way, or how does that work?
Like at the end of the day, it's percentage based. So we can save a team on its monthly payroll cycle. If we don't even factor in, state taxes and all these stuff, we're just saying overhead costs. We can save a team, 7% a month. And if the average payroll is, $2 million, that's a lot of money, right? That you're able to save. And we're talking about hundreds or dozens and dozens of teams. So a lot of savings can be facilitated. And initially we have to give people a taste of that, but at the end of the day, it doesn't have to be a free service at all. It will not be a free service, right? We could charge a few points on those savings, right? So if the average team, has, let's say, 10, 12% of fees associated with its payroll cycle, and we shave off, 5, 7%, well, the rest can go to the ecosystem, right? Like it doesn't have to be a charity project, right? You're still saving them, more than half, right? So, and we haven't even started, talking about the real savings. The real savings can come in, when teams are able to, for example, only pay state tax. Federal tax instead of state tax, like in hockey, for example, in the U.S. And in European teams, it's the same thing. Every state they go and they have to pay, the tax rate for that state, right? On top of federal tax. So having the ability to, get paid in crypto, and you're potentially able to tap into a massive amount of savings that would instantly create adoption because it's massive. So I don't want to talk too much about that because we have some internal investigation in that regards. But it looks like that you can avoid state taxes by getting paid in crypto and only having to deal with federal tax. And imagine that savings alone right there, right? I'm not even talking about the accounting overhead that was a nightmare, right? Paying all these various taxes. Every night they play in a different city, right? It's a different tax bracket. It's craziness, right? So just alone by avoiding the accounting headache, it's a massive savings, but on top of it, you would have the actual taxes themselves, having, a DAO structure, for example, that is recognized by the state of Wyoming that offers, legally recognized DAO corporations. You can tie all of this together into, an incredible revolution in the current standard. It'd be like Moneyball did in baseball, right? Within 2 years, boom, you have no choice but to go with this route because it is, such a massive savings that if you don't go with it, you're not competitive, right? Imagine, saving 30% on your payroll cycle at the end of the year, right? Like that's massive money, right? You can get a few extra star players.
Yeah, no, and it's insane, and it's one of the few things too that I think, for those that aren't super into sports, right? It's truly something that, from what I gather, at least on my side of things, is it's as good for a team as it is a player. And I think that's something that you really start to see there is very rarely the reality, right? It's usually the team is going to win and a player gets, whatever's left, right? So I think that from my perspective, I see that's where that can really take off. So we've always we've talked, I guess, a little bit of the product, a little bit of the utility. Let's maybe get a little bit more into the crypto space and for the people that are on the line, because I can talk the sports side of it till tomorrow afternoon, but I don't know that's what everybody wants to hear about. So I know I put the website in the link. If you guys got anything that you want to share, feel free to post it in there as well. But, it's a pretty impressive roadmap. You guys got lots coming. I want to focus a little bit more on the immediate term. So, I see things like BSC bridging coming in. That was coming up. I don't know what timeline, but you can maybe go into that a little bit. I saw Ascent coming in, which is pretty exciting too. So, And then I would like you guys to maybe go through a little bit on what your vesting schedule is, because I know it was a decent sized pre-sale. It's all open, which I loved. You can actually go in and you can see the spreadsheets and all that, which is, just like you guys showing your faces, having all that stuff available, open and freely accessible is important. So maybe we'll go through that a little bit. Let's talk about the bridging. Let's talk about the vesting, and then talk about, upcoming central exchanges.
100%. Which one you want to go first? Bridges. The bridge is live.
Bridge is live. It's working already. Yeah.
Yeah, you can buy Locker on BSC, on Pancake Swap.
Go first.
Yeah, you can. There's an arbitrage, bought in place that prevents, people taking advantage of any possible arbitrage opportunities. But yeah, it's easily accessible in both. Yeah, damn it. Yeah. But yeah, no, we wanted to come out with all these things right out of the gate. Some people, saying, yeah, we should have hyped all of this more, right? Because that's what people are used to in the space, right? Getting, these things upcoming, right? Staking going live next month, right? Like we brought that out, right after launch, right? Same with the BSC bridge, right? We didn't make, this is our fault, I guess. We just wanted to come out, with deliverables right from the start, and just kind of get these things done with, so we can focus on our real business, which is out there in the real world, right? Like that's taking a lot of energy right now. Is like educating all of these people, right? On this is their first time in crypto, right? So yeah, so that's our biggest, work. But so we want to just get all these crypto things, done with. But yeah, in this case right now, the bridge works. Yeah, everything is launched. Regarding vesting, we have a very, very long vesting schedule. If you pull it up, you'll see like the team, is locked for the first 3 months. After that, we have I think it's like 4 or 5 years that were vested. Let me pull it up right now. The private sale was all right. It wasn't massive. It was I think it was 8% of our 8% of our total supply. And it comes with vesting as well for 12 months. So these people got 10% at launch. And the rest of it, is distributed in biweekly payments over 12 months. At the end of the day, yes, with the private sale, you do have a little bit of selling pressure, but I would say most of that is gone now. On launch, we had 18 million tokens brought out, because we had influence around this as well. It was strategic partners for long-term collaboration. So 18 million tokens, were out on our upcoming airdrops that were claimable. We only have 3 million being released, so significantly smaller than the 18 million we just had from launch. So I think at the end of the day, most of our private people are in it for the long run as well. So a lot of tokens have been staked. I think 11 million of the tokens in circulation, or 68 million, are already locked up for the next 90 days. Well, they can claim anytime. There's no lock in there, but they've been staked. So I think it's a high percentage, 15% of circulating supply being out there, or being in a staking contract. Massive. And yeah, I think people are just getting to learn about our product, and those people that know what we're building, those that know what we're working on, they're in it for the long run, right? They would be, all shooting themselves when they reflect on this, in 6 months and say, wow, look, now these guys have accomplished all of these things here. The token price has gone through the roof. I was there from day one. So I think most people now at this point know where we're going, know what we're working on. And our announcements that are coming, they're not hype announcements of saying, look, what we're going to be doing. Like our next announcements will be, look, this professional team right here has embraced blockchain technology into their business operations. This massive lineup of players here, is pledging to want to go crypto. So we're working on, all kinds of angles here to bring massive moves to us. I think it's only up from here. It's our vesting schedule is spaced out, but those people with us that are in that vesting schedules, all right, now they know where we're going, right? They've had time to educate themselves on the project. They're with us, and yeah, I'm excited for what's about to come. I know the chart doesn't look amazing right now. I'll be honest. It doesn't impress me at all.
They never do.
it blows my mind. Pa was calling me after the first, first week. He's like, how is anybody selling, right? And they're like, why? Do they not know what we're doing?
They
Yeah,
understand
and
what we're doing.
I said, Pat, it's exactly it. They do not know,
These
right?
are
Like
the
a lot of
people you want
people.
to get rid of at the end of the day.
Right,
Yeah,
but
they're
they just bought a
the
ticker
yeah.
symbol, right? They bought a call, and they don't know what we're building, right? So that's what I wanted to make you with this point, is that there was, the people that get the chance to educate themselves on what we are all about and what we have lined up. They know, right? They know that this thing is going to blow up. We're sitting at 600K market cap right now. The biggest meme coins, are out there, with no utility, hitting 10 million plus. And, we right here have massive real world potential, not just potential. We're working on the real world stuff, but we have massive potential to blow up and to be a top coin, right? This could be a household name in crypto and pro sports, right? Like, people think pro sports and crypto, they think locker token, right? We really are aiming for that high. And those people that are with us, from the early days, that are knowing what we are building, they're with us. We just got rid of, I think, a lot of people from the traditional launch hype, and people, we didn't carry it over with the hype, I guess that they're used to. We just thought, hey, let's just work here in silence and show what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
Let's not be mysterious about it. That's what we
I think
rolled
that's
out
better.
with an. You think it's better? Nice.
Well, it's a tough thing, right? It really depends, I think, and this is just me speaking, right? I think there's a few ways to look at it, right? You've got these friggin' whatever 1,000 coin that goes to 100 million market cap and no one knows why, but at the end of the day, they're going to be dead in 6 months or 8 months or whatever it is, right? So I think there's an advantage to having that slow organic growth and allowing you to build your platform, your portfolio, get all these partnerships, right? Because at the end of the day, then being a pump and dump is tough. It's easy to do, but you can't sustain them, right? So I think if you hold your floor and you grow over time and you bring in all the utility, there's a huge advantage, I think, to that. So when I look at a chart, crypto's a tough thing, right? I mean, for myself, I like to invest in the developers and the utility, right? Not everybody does that, but that's going to change because everyone's running out of money to buy in the top, right? So you're going to eventually have to change that. But I want to, I appreciate. Yeah, you bet.
Just to add to that, Steve, like, this is going to happen. Adoption is going to happen. It's going to happen. I can't predict if it's going to be 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. And we are going to be the first to the forefront to offer this in the sports industry and entertainment industry. And it's going to be in their hands. And as it happens, people are going to be watching it unfold. And it's such a bit. I mean, you're in crypto, I'm new to crypto per se. And just the ability to move money, I need this, I need that, things at the speed of light is incredible. It's incredible. It's huge. No borders.
And stars are going to refer other stars. That's the biggest thing we're seeing right now, right? So, we have our initial ties here right now, but everybody's talking right now and everybody wants to get a taste of crypto. Everybody wants to be involved in it, right? So, we have good friends like ours, like JC, who people actually know because he showed up to a lot of AMAs.
He played for Vancouver last year, Vancouver Canucks.
Right, talking to his buddy, Daniel Negreiro, who was, number one poker star of the decade, right? Owns the, some NFT rights for the World Series poker, right? Like, wants to get into crypto, all that stuff, right? But these guys are golfing together. He tells them about locker token, and next thing we're growing our network, right? And, getting some serious people on board. And, so all of the stuff, we haven't even disclosed yet. A lot of that stuff, we just talk about it here like this right now. But there's some massive things coming. And all of a sudden, right, it's just going to go boom. And we're out there. So right now we're working on the basics, checking all the boxes, making sure that we can handle, the big thing. We're seeing it right now, even just onboarding teams and players is a massive time-consuming process. So you really got to build up, from the ground up, making sure you can scale your business to handle everything that's coming our way.
Yeah. Well, I think even if you guys look at your ambassador list, I mean, a lot of people probably aren't going to know who a lot of the names are. I'm, one of those people who do know who a lot of those names are, right? And I think, those people know people that know people that know people. And, once it catches fire and once you see it take off, it just exponentially grows from there, right? So I do want to take you, we're about 45 minutes in here. I want to take a couple seconds and just kind of open it up to the community, whether anybody, when we do have the voice chat, not everybody can talk. So feel free if you got questions to post in the chat. But if anybody wants to kind of somewhat organizingly take a stab here at some questions for the boys, I'd love to just open the floor up and see who has, or if anybody has any questions.
We won't bite. Ask anything.
Hey guys, I wanna ask something about your NFT collection because I saw your recently pinned message on the main chat, and I wanted to ask if it will be listed in OpenSea most likely, and how much could be the minting price.
You know what? It's nice that you follow our community because we only posted that one time. I guess we did pin it for a while, but let us bring out more details on that. It's with a renowned artist. That's the only thing I can really say. We don't want to bring out too much of even the style or the characteristics of it. So just keep following our channel here. At the end of the day, the one thing I can tell you about is it'll be the first NFT collection that will have real authentication at a mass scale from a ton of people. So how many pictures did we supply there, Pat? Was it like 60 some pictures?
60 something from pro athletes, pro hockey players.
Right. So they're all gonna be endorsed. They're all gonna be tied to an authenticated NFT by the player in the real world. So we're gonna combine a lot of unique things that people haven't seen in NFTs, especially at that scale. And we won't have our own marketplace out by then, so it will be on a retail marketplace like OpenSea.
Right. Thank you so much.
No problem. Anybody else? We're happy to answer.
Hi, Steve. Hi, guys. This is Cassie.
Hey, Cassie.
Hi, guys.
Yeah. Hi, my question is, how do you guys plan to have both BSC and Eat Price sustainable when it comes to marketing in a way that it could be possibly affect both positively?
Yeah, so working with a market maker, and the market maker basically controls our markets, making sure that there is no arbitrage opportunities. And that's their service, right? So there's an arbitrage bot actually in place to make sure that that people cannot kind of swap tokens from one side to the other and affect the price. But in this case, the market maker on the BSC side is making sure that the price stays within the same vicinity. I know there's some fluctuations, but it's very minor, more or less the same through the market maker.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any plans for exchanges?
Exchanges?
Yes.
So we said? Yeah, of course, 100%. A lot of our supply, 30% of our supply is allocated for exchanges and liquidity on exchanges. We're already in talks with top tier exchanges like OK Exchange that we're working on getting a listing. I can't bring out any confirmations on that yet, but we have incredible connections, again thanks through Pat, from people like Tony Tong, who's the co-founder of the Hong Kong Blockchain Association, who was kind enough to introduce us to the vice president of OK Exchange to help us out with a listing. So again, it just shows about the capacity that we're able to play with because of the wonderful connections that we have inside the space and both outside the crypto space.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? And I think people need to really understand some of these connections, right? These connections are huge, and I think it's both inside and outside that crypto space, which I think it's impressive to say the least, right? I haven't seen a list, or at least many projects out there that have what you guys have already built in, and you're like, what, a week old, 9 days, something like that, right? Like, it's still slept on. But yeah, anyway, any other questions? I think I saw Kyle unmute.
Well, I've been hearing some rumors about you guys maybe getting on some network television in one fashion or another. Is there any leaks on that stuff happening?
Yeah, you mean the Fox thing? So we originally had an interview scheduled for April 1st on Fox News on the Clamming Countdown. Unfortunately, like 2 days prior, a couple days prior, that was moved on us. But Pat and Eleanor are in contact about rescheduling. She was also on vacation here for a week. She just got back here last Tuesday, I think it was, and right away messaged Pat and said, hey, she's back. Sorry, the show pushed it off, but she's going to talk about rescheduling it right now. So yeah, it's going to happen. It's all going to happen at the right time. At the end of the day, I think it might even be a blessing that it got pushed off a little bit, because now we can talk about it completely different when we do go on air. We can say, here, look, here's our working app. Here's the teams that are already using it. Look, these teams are going to save this much money on the next payroll cycle, by paying this and this and this, right? So it's a completely different presentation, and the eyes or the ears that this is gonna fall on, eyes and ears. These are investors. So at the end of the day, here I just see Pat. Yeah, message popping into Eleanor. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. So.
Me.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, when the ears that are going to hear this and the eyes that are going to see this, see what we already have, out there working, they're gonna be impressed. A lot of them wouldn't probably have loved it as much when we came there April 1st and says, here, our app is coming out, and we are onboarding teams in the future. It's gonna sound a lot different. We say, here, look, this is where we're at, and this is what we're doing, and this is where the business opportunity lies for you to invest in right now, because where we're going over the coming months.
Yeah, well, and I asked that question because I knew the answer, and it just goes to show that much more how much you guys are connected to the real world, and knowing that you guys can get those interviews with Fox and those kinds of things, and having those relationships through being pro athletes, through the pro athletes you guys work with, that the Hockey Hall of Famers and that kind of thing. It's just such a beautiful thing. So I threw you a softball there.
I appreciate it. Right. It's good. There's so much stuff. There really is. There's so many exciting things, right? And go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I was saying that there's so many exciting things. Like we could keep. There's more things. We don't even have all of it showcased out there. But I just want people to understand that this is something with a real business, plan and a long-term vision. And a lot of coins out there, that sustain themselves by community hype. Yes, you got to watch those coins. You buy them, and then you got to make sure that the hype sustains, or you got to get out, right? Before you end up with nothing. So with us, it's not really like that, right? We are working on real world things, and our chart is not directly, our token is not directly tied to the business we're doing right now, because there isn't, direct reflections. We don't have teams, buying tens of thousands of dollars of locker tokens, even hundreds of thousands, if they want to utilize our white label solutions, which we haven't even talked about here, because we know that stuff is still, half a year or so away, because teams right now are just getting their foot in the door. So yeah, right now, most of our work is in silence, I would say, out there, and all of a sudden, right, it's gonna show effect in the real world. A lot of people think we're already sitting at like a 10 million market cap, which we're not. We're sitting at 600K. There's only up from here. There really is, right? We have everything, ahead of us, and this is just the beginning of something massive.
Yeah, I think you're seeing a shift in that in crypto, though, in a lot too, right? There's always going to be these hype coins, these pump dump coins, but I think you're starting to see a bit of a shift in the DeFi landscape, where there's these slow train projects that just keep pumping out real world application, and I think that's going to be the next meta from my perspective, where it's things that matter, right? So I know for myself, and I can only speak for myself, obviously, but those are the projects I want to get in. I'd rather hold that than, hold a project and, it's going to be moon or dust, and I don't know which one it's going to be, right? So I think there's a lot of value that comes to that.
That's so true. I mean, whether you're, this locker token type platform that offers real world utility, there's projects out there that are, social networking platforms and things like that. They take a while to build, but as you build them and that utility becomes more real, that's when you really see that uptick. And so people see these dips and they think a project might be dead, but it's actually just because the teams are working behind the scenes and getting things done. And that's what's really important to focus on.
Absolutely.
100%. Exactly. Yeah, like you said earlier, it's not sustainable if you hype the shit out of it, right? Because eventually, you run out of steam. So, and that wouldn't help us, sustain our business. So, that's where we choose the route of delivering, our actual business, our actual product, and everything else will come on its own, like you guys said.
Right on. Well, guys, I know we just got a few minutes left here. Any final questions? We do have a couple giveaways to do. I think I'll ask. I should have probably stated this at the start, but for a couple questions, if you guys want to toss out a couple people, we can do it at random. I think I'll probably do a quiz around hockey at the end because I've been waiting 7 months in this group to do a hockey quiz. I'll be the only one that knows it, but hey. Other than that, any questions anybody has that they want to ask the team? Again, I'm so bullish on this project, guys. I appreciate your time. Anybody else?
Thank you, Steve.
Hey, Steve. I've actually got a question for the team.
Yeah.
So, for the team, as we all guys know, nowadays almost every investor holds the token for a really short time, or for the short term, without really understanding the long term value of the project. So, my question is, how can you guys ensure to your strong holders and your potential investors who are listening right now that this token is more beneficial for the long term? And I want to know, what are your plans to increase the demand and scarcity of Locker's token?
Yeah. So what I would say to anybody is we're going out there with our long-term business plan, right? This is not something that depends on the work we do here, for the next week. Like, this is something that we're doing for months, and with it will come, adoption that requires the purchase of Locker token, which will then create, the actual demand for it because the utility it has, on the working app. Those people that are with us, they're vested for 12 months. Okay, our private people, our foundation, right? So they knew that this right here is going to, it's going to be a 12 months minimum journey. And our journey, starts right now with real world activity where, we are sitting down with players and teams and showing them how to, go around the crypto sphere. And, it's just a matter of time until we see it already. It's happening. Yes. So it's not even a matter of time that the wildfire has caught. Yeah? So we see the adoption is taking place now. Now it's really just about handling it and making sure we can scale it up, because it's a big demand. We don't have a short-term vision here. This is something for the long term, and people that are buying Locker tokens should not rely on it to flip 2x tomorrow so you can cover your rent. Like, this is something you want to buy, and just know that as long as Optimal World Sports and Pat and Dennis and the people we have in our team and the players, are keep going about their everyday stuff, because with it comes Locker token adoption. We are at that spot right now where it's a real thing, right? The excitement amongst the team, the excitement amongst the players is real, and we are that token and the app that facilitates them getting into crypto. So as long as we keep going about what we're doing every day regardless, this token will be incredibly successful. Awesome. You guys just happen to have the ability of buying it right now, ahead of teams, and ahead of teams using it, on a large scale, but also players, right? There's going to be service charges for both sides, right? And just alone there's tons, right? I don't even want to get into too many numbers, but there's so many opportunities where we can capitalize on what we're building and what we're offering. And there's a lot of intermediaries that are getting cut out that can all be, replaced by blockchain, smart contracts, and the holders of the Locker token get to be the ones who benefit from cutting out those intermediaries and shaving a percentage.
Well, I think it gets missed a lot in the way, right? This is truly a win-win-win from all layers of that ecosystem, whether it's the team-oriented, the player-oriented. Each of them have their nuggets in there, and I think from an investor community side, that the nugget comes in there too. You've got people that have a lot of money. There's a lot of money flowing around, whether it's hockey, any different major sport, any smaller sports, celebrities, music. As it grows, there's it's that triple threat, and I don't think there is a lot of that within the world in general, right? Where there's a true win for everybody involved, and it's to some degree fairly equal amongst the three, and I think that's very rare in this space, right? Normally it's that 1% gets richer and the rest of us get left whatever's left, right? So I think there's a lot of good that comes through that. So
awesome. No, you're right. It is a win-win-win. Thanks, guys, for having us here and introducing it.
Yeah, you bet. Any one more question if there isn't, and then I'll turn it, Dennis or Pat, over to you guys to pick a couple winners. You can choose whether you want to pick people who ask questions or random, and then we'll throw in a nice little ApeHouse quiz on the bottom that you guys might enjoy. Pat will probably know the answer for sure, but it might take him a few clues to get there. Okay. He probably knows them. Any final questions? Going once, going twice. All right. Well,
wait.
There we go. Right into the wire, King. Give her.
Yeah, sorry about that. How's everybody doing today? How you guys doing?
Right on, buddy. Good.
I had a question. Where did all you guys say you're from again? That was my first question because I see. I remember Steve was saying something about. I know Steve is in Canada. Are some of you guys there as well?
I used to live in Canada. So Pat does as well. I'm German originally, but I live in Canada for like 12 years, 14 years, 13 years. And now I'm in Costa Rica. So last two years.
One of those places. I'm in Nova Scotia at the moment. I'm not from here, though. I'm from the Bahamas. But what else I was curious about was how did you guys actually really come together and say, you know what? This direction that we're going, and what keeps you guys so driven on your project, even though the chart's not looking the best right now? Like what's driving you guys right now to keep going?
Exactly. My players, I care about our players. We love our players. We want to make sure their lifestyle is improved, and I can tell you this is going to improve their lifestyle. When you have players that can't get money to their families, can't pay their mortgage, they're supposed to be paid in the first, and 8-9 days later the money shows up and it's several hundred short every month because of fees, transaction fees, currency exchanges, all these things. That's what motivates me. How this whole thing started. I get those things called. Yeah, exactly. I get these calls all day. And these players, it's devastating sometimes. To go to Europe the first time, or you've been there for several years, your life's still in North America, right? You still have your homes, your families, expenses, all these things. You're only a period of time. You're up 6-7 months at a time. For a short period of time. Some guys' career maybe at the length maybe 8-9 years in Europe. That's it. Then you need to keep a life in North America. So all these things is how this all started. Crypto and blockchain can alleviate all these problems. No middleman, no centralized network, no waiting for a bank to open on a Monday morning at 10 a.m. and you need money on a Saturday. Like just little things like that. Just something happened 3 days ago. I got a player that was playing in Sweden, had a bank account in Sweden, got traded to Switzerland, had to open a bank account in Switzerland. That took forever because he had to wait for his visa. Then he ended up in Czechoslovakia 2 weeks later on another team, had to open another account. Then he left Czechoslovakia 3 months later to go back to Sweden. Now he's got a bank account in Czechoslovakia, Switzerland, and Sweden. The guy and can't get his money in either country because he's got to go back in person, fly back to make sure they can verify his identity. Like, it's insanity, right? It's 2022,
that's crazy.
Right? It's crazy. So that's how this is going to alleviate all those things.
I love that. Like, even when you put that in perspective, that's dope. I have one last question for you guys. So, how big is your team right now? And as far as the landscape of everything with these teams,
let me give you a sheer example here, an example of how many teams, players, and how big the markets are. So if I were just to start from, I'll start from the UK and we'll make my way west. You got the UK, okay? There's let's just say there's close to 20 professional teams. On that team, each team's got 22 players. So you're talking 440 players in the UK. Plus the fan base is massive, right? You're talking about a population and a fan base of a country. Then you move into Denmark. Okay, Denmark's got 12 professional teams. They get 22 players on every team. Then you've got the fan base in that whole country. Then you've got Norway, same thing as Denmark. Then you get into Sweden. It's 100% just like Canada, nothing but hockey. Sweden's all hockey. You've got
millions of fans, right? Like,
yeah.
And this is just one sport.
This is just one sport,
right?
And you've got tens of millions of people. Finland is the exact same. Then you get into Germany, one of the biggest markets. 85 million people live in Germany. The DEL is one of the largest leagues in Europe. They've got 14 pro teams in the biggest cities: Munich, Berlin, Cologne.
And PAD represents 30% of all the players in the DEL. 30%, like, yeah, like
not even about. But if you just take us, if we have 2 players or 3 players in every dressing room in every country, and they're going to be exposed to the locker app, which of them are, you can see the ambassadors. As this app is launched, when it comes out on Android, when it comes out on iOS, the sheer discussion in the locker room, right? That's how the name came, in the locker room. People are going to just get so excited, and then it just snowballs from there. That's what I was talking about, adoption. And then, of course, the teams. I've met with the GMs, and GMs are like, wow, you can move money like that. We can save money on currency costs. We can exchange, like, all these things. It's crazy how many benefits there are. That's how this snowball effect is going to really take charge and happen fast. Adoption is going to happen real fast. I didn't even finish all the markets.
I was going to say, you're just getting started.
Yeah, we stopped at Germany, but Switzerland, the biggest team sport is hockey. No, it's bigger than soccer. Switzerland's the #1 team sport is hockey. Massive following, massive amount of people in Zurich, in Bern, in Geneva, in Lausanne, in Lugano. Lugano just made Bitcoin legal tender. Then you get into the northern part of Italy, all of Austria. Keep going. You got Slovakia. Slovakia just won a bronze medal at the Olympics. Massive hockey market. Czechoslovakia, we all know. I talk to Jaromir Jagr every day. Just did 2 contracts with him. He's the owner of Kladno, and he's still playing 50 years old. It's crazy, the connection. So when we talk about
Jersey,
yeah, it's one email we send. Yeah, we send one email.
There you go.
Right. 500 teams in a split second. So it's just timing. We're just getting all our ducks in an order in a row here, and then boom, let's go, boys. It's gonna blow up.
No, I love it. So we are definitely going over a little bit on time here, which is fine. I could talk this all friggin' day. I don't know if either of you saw the question from Twinkie Winky here in the chat. I don't know if it's easier for you to read it and answer it as opposed to me narrate it, but what do you think, Dennis?
I'm gonna go into your chat right now.
Yeah, it's just about a few messages up.
Okay, you have brother, easy deposit feature.
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. Yeah, so like the on-ramp that we're using, so initially we have the integration already built for Simplex. Simplex has been super slow with giving us, the API keys like to actually get started. We have now in the meantime contacted everybody else out there, on-ramp or MoonPay, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of we were supposed to bring this out, already a few days ago, but Simplex can, drop the ball. But there's a ton of providers out there, third-party providers that we can integrate into the app. Multiples, right? So some work better in Europe, some work better in the US, some work better in Asian countries, etc. So that's easy. At the end of the day, that's not our service facilitating. We use third parties for the on-ramp. When it comes to onboarding big money in Europe, we have a fiat OTC desk in Liechtenstein that can facilitate, receiving large wire transfers in the millions and actually getting teams payroll figured out. So we're just testing it with a few teams right now. Making sure that everything works, like Pat says, our ducks are in a row, and then from there on, it's just scaling it, right? Saying, okay, good, look, this works. These are the real savings. This is what it takes to integrate, right? Let's do this times 10, right? And instead of testing it with a few players, boom, test it with the whole team, right? And once it works for one business and they can demonstrate significant savings, easy, right? It's so easy to now convince team 2 and 3 because they all know that, okay, this is free money I'm leaving on the table. And if everybody else adopts this, except for me, I'm going to be, you know, non-competitive. And that's what we're sporing. So yeah, to answer that question, third-party providers. I guess I kind of went off track there. The wallets, you know, or the on-ramp is not through us, and the withdrawal process. You know, we're working with company right now as well that's going to offer us a white label credit card, right? So very easy, right? You just send money, and they in crypto, and they load a credit card. So we are working on the full package solution. For people to have the whole experience on the Locker app without having to go, you know, off the app for too many things.
Awesome. Perfect. No, thank you for answering that. And thank you guys again. I appreciate your time. So at this point, how do you guys want to do it? You got a couple giveaways here that you want to do for people that ask questions? You want to do it at random? What floats your boat?
Do it at random, you know. I feel bad, you know, selecting people.
That's the Canadian in you.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. Lots of stories.
Right. Yeah, no, that's all good. I greatly appreciate your guys' time today. I'm more bullish, if it was possible, than I was when we started this. So I look forward to your guys' journey. You know, full disclosure, I do own a little bit. Love to own more, but maybe down the road when you know, some of my pump and dumps maybe pump more than dump, we'll be able to afford to buy more. But yeah, we'll pick a couple at random here, and then we will send you guys a recording as well too. So if you want to share it with your chat, feel free. And we will, if you guys want to stick around, we'll do some of the giveaways in the chat. And other than that, get back to work and have fun and good luck, guys. I'm very excited to see where you're able to take it.
That was very good having you here. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it, man.
All right.
Any
Take
questions
care.
come up?
Thanks everyone for listening.
Is there.
Yeah. You guys are always welcome in the house too. So at any point you guys want to come in and drop information, feel free. You're a member of the ApeHouse now. So
right on.
Amazing.
Thanks, boys.
Thanks, guys. Ciao. Bye, Steve. Bye, Kyle. Thanks, community.
Peace, guys.